Hey God Gamers, it's K-Wing here with another exclusive video review for ya. Silent Hill Shattered Memories for the Nintendo Wii. Man, 2009 had to be the year of horror game. Well, at least that's the impression I got. This game released on December 9th of 2009, and Shattered Memories is a reimagining of the series and does not take place during the events of the original PlayStation game. The only similarities between this and the original is its source material, which is the same characters. Still, does Silent Hill manage to be a great Wii game, or does it fail to impress? You'll have to watch our review to find out. Our story takes place in a psychologist's office, where the good doctor is examining an unknown patient. Through this patient is how the game's events unfold. The Shattered Memories take place in a fictional town called Silent Hill. Here, Harry Mason and his daughter, Cheryl, are involved in a car accident during a terrible snowstorm. After losing consciousness, Harry awakens to find his daughter missing. Suffering a minor concussion, Harry races blindly into the storm to find his little girl. Harry Mason, the protagonist from the first Silent Hill, returns, and he isn't chopped into tiny little bits. The concept of the game is to find your missing daughter Cheryl. Now, how the game goes about this is very freaky. At first glance, folks might think this game is actually the cancelled Winter Wii game. Well, it's not. In that game, players were to guide a main character through a snowstorm armed with only a flashlight and their wits for survival. But this game is not that game. Shattered Memories is divided into 4 categories: exploring, puzzle solving, survival, and psychological. Let's begin with exploring. Now, like most Silent Hill games, Konami has given us a vast world to get familiar with. Harry goes to many unique locations, most of which are run down and in need of desperate repair because of the bad storm. Players will leap fences, make their way through the sewers, and play Blair Witch Project in the woods. While the game isn't open-ended, it still feels massive as opposed to preset. Harry's flashlight is the gamer's best friend in this game and was tailor-made for the Wiimote. Besides being equipped with a flashlight, after meeting one of the locals in the town, players learn that Harry has a cell phone. The phone is used instead of collecting old diary pages and checking environments like the past games. Harry uses his phone for scanning the environments and so much more. The phone has a built-in GPS for one, which acts as a map for the gamer. Taking pictures with the phone is done by pressing the A button, and it's useful for uncovering hidden ghosts and messages. When exploring Silent Hill, sometimes Harry can call different characters or have characters call or text him, leading to more interesting surprises. It can't be a Wii game without some kind of point-and-click problem solving. Throughout the game, players need to solve numerous puzzles. These puzzles mainly focus on opening doors, cracking passwords, or removing barriers. Gamers, for the most part, can use Harry's cell phone or the motion controls to win the day. Ah yes, the chase stages. When Harry has gotten closer to Cheryl, the nightmare begins, and everything but Harry has been frozen in a thick sheet of ice. The whole point of these stages is to run for your life. Players need to keep running until they make their way out of the nightmare. Otherwise, you die and you try again. The final element this game has to offer is the therapy sessions. This is where the game observes and evaluates the player. No kidding. Depending on what you do in these sessions molds not only Harry's personality, his clothing, but also the people that Harry meets and Silent Hill itself. Still, the overall point of this game is to find your daughter, no matter the cost. The gameplay is pretty straightforward. Like most survival horror games, players explore stuff before having to fight monsters. The camera controls in this game are done by moving the Wiimote around, and this acts as a player's flashlight. Players have full control over the camera, and wherever you point the flashlight is what Harry will look at. The A button is actually going to be heavily relied on in this game, and it's used to interact with all the different environments. And Silent Hill uses a ton of motion controls, which acts as the puzzle-solving element for the game, but it's done in a very tasteful way. Usually this results in twisting and turning the Wiimote around to get that desired action. Examples of this would be for opening doors, pill bottles, dissecting the frog, pulling down zippers, and so much more. The motion controls are used a lot in the therapy sessions too, like when you're coloring the painting, pointing and grabbing things, and responding to the doctor by shaking your head up and down. However, the chase scenario's gameplay is drastically different. Since this game offers no combat features at all players can do is literally run for their lives. When a nightmare grabs Harry, all you can do is thrust the Wiimote around and players can shrug off the nightmare. Harry can also throw obstacles in their way by pushing down objects with the Wiimote. The only weapon that I think Harry would actually have is the flares. Now the flares are very useful because they actually scare the monsters. Monster no like fire! To use the flare, you actually press the Z button, and this keeps the creatures at bay for about 30 to 60 seconds, depending on how far along in the game you are. As you have gathered, the gameplay is very different than the traditional Silent Hill games, especially the nightmare sections of the game. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. For the most part, the gameplay is excellent, and this is a great Wii game. However, this game does have some issues. My main faults with this game are, of course, the chasing stages and the fact the game is just too short. I understand the developers were trying to be a little bit different with this game, but these chase sequences can get downright annoying. More or less, this aspect of the game is not really survival, more like trial and error. Once you get the layout of the level down, you're gonna beat the level every time. However, that doesn't mean there won't be constant problems. Let's first begin with the camera controls, which worked out great for the adventure stages and terrible for the action ones. Every once in a while, Harry will run into a wall and the flashlight will appear stuck, making it very easy for the monster to actually come up and grab you. Another lame factor is the radar itself. Now, the game's in-game radar is supposed to get all VCR fuzzy when you get close to a monster. But sometimes the radar doesn't act at all. In fact, the game won't even recognize a monster behind the door, so when you open the door, the monster's going to come out and grab you. Later in the game, players cross paths with a terrible maze. Without giving away any plot points, the maze is super repetitive and wicked annoying. We hated this part of the game the most. Not only is the maze utterly confusing, but this stage has the most monsters that you'll encounter in the entire game. Moving on to the good stuff. One of the things we enjoyed the most about Memories is the overall presentation and the graphics. Since most of the game takes place during a heavy snowstorm, the snowing effect looked great thanks to the amazing particle effects. I don't think I've ever seen snow look as frightening or as beautiful as it does in Memories. The game's dynamic use of the flashlight is very well done and put the player right into Harry's shoes. It may not be much, but the flashlight is super responsive and the lighting effects is as real as you can get. We just found it fun to move the flashlight around. The only thing missing was the lack of shadow puppets, which actually may have taken away from the tense vibe of the series, but it would have been nice. Harry's world is totally immersive and it complements his trusty flashlight nicely. Players travel to rundown businesses, bathrooms, a school, a mall, a movie theater. Hey look, it's a Contra arcade game.
Some real classics.
There's amusement park and so many more. Each location reflects the mood of the tense atmosphere of the game. Harry will see lots of little details like picture frames, toys, books, posters, and what's great is players can actually read the text without the text getting all blurry as you zoom in. Personally, I thought the music was very well done, and it increased the creepiness factor and the locations in Silent Hill. Once again, the music was done by its famed legendary composer of the series. The puzzle-solving element is very well done, and it seemed to remind us of Capcom's Zack and Wiki. I like that players can take pictures of anything in the game, even stuff that's not really relative to the game itself. Harry could even call other characters, read text messages, use the GPS to find where he needed to go. Anything. The voice acting in this game is so well done.
Dahlia?
I felt like the characters' emotions and reactions pulled me deeper into the story.
She drowned.
Another crash?
The reason the doctor sessions are so interesting is the fact that they shape the player's journey. Throughout these little distractions, the good doctor dives into your mind and discerns what type of moral conscious decisions you will make, as well as the immoral ones. This adds a huge dimension of replay value for obsessed fans who really want to keep playing this twisted game. Each playthrough unlocks different locations and characters, different behaviors for Harry, like either a timid man or a rude lecher type person.
you're a nice guy,
There is a
Harry.
total of 5 different endings, which I really can't get into. All in all, this was actually a good game, but not really a survival horror game. Silent Hill's reimagining has impressive realistic graphics, insane snowing particle effects, amazing lighting and flashlight mechanics, good music and great voice acting, terrible chase scenes, solid gameplay, excellent camera work, a deep and thrilling storyline. The game lets the player decide what locations are available and how Harry behaves, which in turn offers 5 ways to play through the game. So GodGame.com gives Silent Hill Shattered Memories for the Nintendo Wii an 8 out of 10. For the most part, exploring Silent Hill and giving different things Harry could do was very surprising and sometimes very random. Heck, I was even able to call Verizon 411 and it worked. Well guys, that's going to wrap up things for me. Thanks so much for watching another Got Game video review. Keep it locked here for new content all the time, only on GotGame.com. This is K-Wing as always saying God bless and happy gaming until we meet again, gamers. See ya!